Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to a not post-game edition of the Missing Wolves post-game podcast live stream thing. And my eyes are still adjusting to the brightness after watching Markiplier's Iron Lung. And oh my gosh, a good movie, but very dark. So that's my complaint right off the top of the pod today. But I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, beat reporter for the Wolves. And we figured, with Dosunmu and Julian Phillips getting traded into town, who better to talk to than someone who actually covered them in Chicago? So Austin McGee from Pippen Ain't blog, as well as the Bulls beat, joins me. How's it going, man?
It's going awesome. Crazy past few days with what's gone down, especially for the Bulls making those 7 trades. So kind of good seeing some things calm down, to be honest with you.
Well, and Austin, I'm not going to lie. Like I kind of was snooping around to see who I would send random Twitter DMs to try and get a Bulls writer on the show. And I heard you were at Punch Drunk Wolves before you started doing Bulls stuff. And I was like, well, we got to support our own here. So how'd you go from Punch Drunk Wolves covering the Wolves to, TCU in Chicago now?
Yeah, so pretty crazy. Always been a sports fanatic, obviously, since I'm doing it on the day-to-day now. But prior, I'm from the DFW Metroplex, so I was writing about the Mavs actually at Smoking Cuban on Fanside at first. Just got asked to lead the Wolves site as like the side expert, as we call it there. Was writing about the Wolves on the daily for a while. From there, they just wanted to add more coverage. Fansided did for the Bulls because it's Chicago, huge market. So just went there and have been with the Bulls now for over a year. Is what it's been. But yeah, DFW ties with the TCU connection there. So still writing about my Horned Frogs too.
It was just a weird combo when I was looking. I was like, oh, this guy's everywhere. He just does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely would look like it.
Well, let's get into it a little bit here. I first wanted to just ask you about like Io as a person. I'll be honest, like I'm not really ever like taken aback by like fan reactions to a trade because sometimes they want to burn jerseys, other times they want to burn the city down. Like Io seems to be like beloved in Chicago, which makes sense. Chicago kid, goes to the University of Illinois, makes it as a second round pick for the Bulls. But like, what is it about him that just makes him, as my dogs are going ballistic in the background, what is it about him that just makes him so like easy for fans to root for?
The first word is just he's a consummate pro. So that's like the perfect way to describe him. Does everything the right way. Just a really likable guy on and off the court. As you touched on it, Chicago native, went to high schools in the Chicago area, went to Illinois. So it's just through and through a Chicago guy. So that's what really makes him likable. And then just how he is as a player. Super versatile in the fact that he's been a starter. He's been a reserve. He's done it all. As a second round pick too, just came in right away and was just a guy that's reliable. So that versatility also goes to his game too. He's a combo guard, gets downhill, shoots it from 3. You look at his efficiency this year, just off the charts. So just does everything defensively, doesn't balk at anything Coach Donovan asked of him. He's going to guard their best guy, going to guard forwards because the Bulls have always been small, it feels like. So he's guarded 6'7", 6'8" wings, and he's guarded point guards. So he just means a lot to the city of Chicago, Chicago kid, Illinois product, everything that you covered. It is tough to lose a guy like Io.
Yeah, the stories of he runs an AAU team in the summer. He does a bunch of charity work. Like, it seems like he just genuinely cares off the court as well, which it's always, Tim Conley, it's kind of a running joke that like every press conference he has, he mentions how he prioritizes good dudes. And like, it seems like he got another one with Io. Kind of more on his play style, like offensively. I'll be honest, I'm not grinding Bulls tape. I've seen probably 3 Bulls games all year, and 2 of them the Wolves were playing in. But like, at least, looking up, watching some film on him, like really good catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Looks like he can get out in transition, kind of attack the basket pretty well. Like, you mentioned combo guard. Like, how comfortable is he like handling the ball though? Is he a guy that you'd consider like having like point guard upside, or is he more of just that off guard that's really reliable?
He does have the point guard upside, I'd say. So not your typical gonna control the game, have the ball in his hands every second. Not that type of guy. Obviously, that was more Giddey's role, and then there's Kobe White too, Trey Jones. So a lot of those point guard types in Chicago, but he's capable of doing so. So a pretty good passer. Not going to light up the assist numbers. Not going to maybe put up like 10 a game every now and then. But I mean, he has had games where he's had 7 or 8 when the ball has been in his hands more often. But just you'll notice it quick. Super savvy downhill attacker. So he's not going to race by you all the time, but he's a quick twitch athlete, good at getting downhill, and good at finishing too around the rim. But yeah, back to your point, can play both point guard and shooting guard. Definitely no worries there. Could play point guard in the pinch. Hold on a second.
Boy, I tell you what, it sure helps when the mic isn't unmuted. I was fully agreeing with you. Just that, like, I think the ideal for Io at some point is to be the point guard. Finch kind of came in with this trio attack of, Mike Conley's getting older. He's reportedly re-signing with the team, but like it's the worst season of his career, even considering a rookie season. Like that's tough. Dante was kind of option 2. He kind of is what he is at this point, like really good off the ball handling, decision maker, kind of lax at times. And then Rob was kind of the hope was, hey, this guy needs to take Mike's job and capitalize on it. And unfortunately, all 3 of those things kind of fell through. So I know for the Wolves, like fans out there, it's been in kind of an ongoing thing of like the Wolves need a point guard. I don't know how much he'll do that right away when he gets here, but definitely if they re-sign him in the offseason, I could see that being like his long-term role. What do you think?
Yeah, I could foresee that too. He's been put in the position on the Bulls, just in more of an attacking mindset. The whole offense is like that. He didn't play with a guy like Anthony Edwards there. Played with Zach LaVine, kind of similar as a 25 point per game scorer, but still a vastly different player, of course. So he's been comfortable playing in that off ball role for a while, but I feel like he can be that on ball guy. The past few games before he was traded, it was almost like 20 and 8 every game. Just because Giddey's been out with the lingering hamstring issues, Kobe is set out here and there. So given the ball, given the opportunity more, he can provide that as potentially the Wolves point guard of the future, honestly.
How surprising was it to you that he got traded? Because obviously his name was in the rumor mill, but like Kobe White, I think everyone expected to. Trey Jones was a name I kept hearing come up, but it's like first year of a new contract. Like, are you really punting on a guy that fast? Io is also a guy I didn't think they would actually move because he is a younger kind of culture guy. What was your take on that, though?
Yeah, I was actually surprised too. Leading up to the deadline, there were some whispers that it was going to be Kobe for sure, and Io was going to stick around. Just for the fact that Kobe, his contract was estimated to be in that $30 million range, especially dating back to last offseason. So it was like, are the Bulls really going to pay Giddey $25 million and Kobe $30 million together in that backcourt? Is that something sustainable? The answer was going towards no. But Io was more around that middle level exception guy. So, 15, 20 million at most, as a serviceable guy who looked as a complementary piece next to Giddey. So that was kind of the consensus. That was the feeling that he wasn't going anywhere. Kobe was. But then kind of everything just started blowing up. AK, the vice president of basketball operations, was just kind of wheeling and dealing. So that last day when I was traded, it was like, man, that's a tough pill to swallow, but kind of see it coming. because he is also on an expiring contract. And afterwards, he just said that it wasn't working in Chicago with the lineups with the guys that they had. So just changes needed to be made. And I guess that I was a part of those changes. But that's what it looked like. You touched on Trey Jones too, which terrific value signing in the offseason. That's what really led to his appeal at $8 million a season. But he's just such a good backup point guard too. So I feel like the Bulls were like, let's just keep this guy around here for a couple more years at $8 million per year.
It made sense. I will say, like, again, I'm not in the Bulls media room. Like, I'm not doing anything with the Bulls other than the 2 games that I watch of them a year. Like, it does seem like after this trade deadline, there's still kind of more questions than answers. Like, still a really heavy point guard like lineup. I mean, Colin Sexton, Josh Giddey. You guys got Jaden Ivey too, didn't you? And Rob Dillingham. What's kind of your feel on what that, like, how are the Bulls going to kind of shake this out through the rest of the year?
So they got Dillingham, who still, of course, has a few years left on this contract. And Ivy is an impending restricted free agent. The rest are all expiring. So what they were going for is sticking with that theme of future salary cap flexibility. And then I guess just kind of testing the water, seeing how these other guys play out. Anthony Simons is a pretty good player, I think. He's, I mean, probably a couple of years ago, you would probably say Simons is better than Kobe White. He's still young. He's played in the NBA forever, it feels like, and he's only like 26. So Simons could be a long-term keeper potentially. Maybe not at that 30 million mark like Kobe, but that's another, we'll wait and see how this plays out over the latter half of the season. Same with Sexton, same even with Dillingham. Obviously, he's going to be with the team, but same even. Let's see how this guy figures in. The guard heavy thing is kind of wonky right now, but I know the core that the Bulls are looking to build around are Giddey, Matas Buzelis, and Noah Essenge, who was the 12th overall pick, only appeared in 2 games before getting shut down with a shoulder injury. The thing is, though, with him, obviously, fans are like, this guy's probably on that bust potential. We don't know who he is at all. He turned 19 in December, so he's going to be 19 heading into his sophomore season, basically another rookie year. So there's still a lot of space on that runway for him to develop.
And like, sometimes it's like an injury, I'd argue, is never good, but like, there are guys that get injured their first. I mean, Julius Randle snapped his leg in half, and like, he's still playing in the league at 10 years later. Like, there are guys that kind of power through it. And like you said, he's so young. Like, there's going to be chances. I do want to touch on Julian Phillips too, just because, he was a name before that year's draft that Tim Conley mentioned a couple times, just because freak athlete, former McDonald's All-American. Like, past that, though, I mean, just looking like through his stats, looks like he has really kind of struggled his first 3 years. What is there kind of in Julian Phillips that might be worth the flyer that the Wolves threw out on him?
So I like Julian Phillips. He has that 3-and-D potential that is obviously so coveted in the NBA. He's not going to take a guy off the dribble. He's not going to, do any type of dribble moves that are going to be like, wow, this guy can get to the rim, or this guy's going to shoot this fadeaway jumper. Nice. He's the guy that's going to catch and shoot from 3, especially the corners. The guy that can even fill that dunker spot, even though he's probably listed at 6'6". He's in that 6'6" to 6'8" range, but really good athlete. He is thin, probably listed around 200 pounds and could be even lighter. But, one of those lanky 3-and-D guys who can just really fit on any roster at small forward or power forward, because he's not a high usage guy. He's just a catch and shoot, dunker spot guy. Savvy cutter, can defend, weak side shot blocker, has all that going for him. But it looks like that will be his NBA game. I'm not sure there is much more to that, but can definitely fill that like Dorian Finney-Smith type role, even like an Isaac Okoro-ish role in the Bulls now. Jaden McDaniels would be a big stretch, but that's the kind of guy he exemplifies.
That's the guy Conley said in his kind of presser yesterday was like, Jaden McDaniels, like mid 6 foot, 6'6", 6'7", 7 foot wingspan. Like theoretically he can play defense at a high level. And then it's just how do we specialize him a little, which, transitioning over to the Wolves guys that went out, like that's kind of, Timberwolves fans probably don't know what Leonard Miller is really, because he only played in like 35, 45 games his entire career here. But the Wolves front office kind of knew what they had in Lenny. It kind of makes sense to move him out, bring in a different asset, and at least get kind of a look at him. Especially when it's, like you said, that 3-and-D type of prototype is just so valuable nowadays that like it just makes sense. I guess from the Chicago side of it, Leonard Miller, Rob Dillingham going in. I don't know if you saw Rob Dillingham's intro press conference, but love to get your thoughts on it. If you do have any thoughts on the Chicago side, and if you have any thoughts on Rob's kind of intro today.
Yeah, I know with Rob, he's been transparent about just playing time and whatnot, the growing pains in the NBA. And that's totally fair. And I like where he's gone with that, as opposed to just kind of what you're used to hearing from an NBA player. But it felt like there was a lot of development needed to be had with Rob. And I know that wasn't really on the Timberwolves' plate, especially where they've been the past few years, reaching the conference finals. With the Bulls, he's going to have that. So he's going to be able to go through those growing pains, and we're going to see what type of player he looks like, because he'll probably have nights where he's getting 30 minutes per game. That's just how it's going to be. He could get 15 to 20 shots, so we can see if those impressive efficiency metrics from Kentucky carry over to the NBA. We'll get to see what that looks like. And same goes for Lenny. Leonard Miller, I've always thought he looked like an NBA talent. I know he didn't get much of a run either, but just his G League stats, his Summer League stats, was always like, man, this guy's just knocking it out of the park. He just looks like a good player. So he'll get that opportunity in Chicago too. So we can see if he is NBA talent adjacent or not. But yeah, I'm really excited to see both of those guys. And I didn't really catch Rob's intro. So if you could touch a little bit more on that.
Yeah. I mean, Rob's, the pieces I watched of it were very similar to how he was in Minnesota, where it's just, he's really excited for the opportunity. Like I remember talking to him at Summer League, and he was like ecstatic that he had a chance to like break in as the starting point guard and kind of make those moves. And I think, part of it is the Wolves are a very weird team that seem to consistently put their backs up against the wall kind of unneededly. Like if they're the 5 seed and they can win 2 games to be the 2 seed, you can almost bet your bank savings that they're going to lose the next game and drop down to the 7 and then win 3 in a row. Like they have to do things the hard way. And for a guy like Rob, like when you're putting yourselves in these positions where you have to win games in February, it's really hard to justify throwing a 20-year-old out there that is still really trying to figure out like how to be an NBA player. And, that's kind of what he expressed in the Bulls media day of like really excited for an opportunity, really excited for a fresh start. Like he's feeling confident that like the Bulls want him, which I'm not saying the Wolves didn't want him, but like it got to the point where he was just kind of an asset burning a hole at the end of the bench. I mean, when he's getting DNPs as the 8th overall pick from last year, like you just feel for the kid. It's going to be really interesting to see in Chicago. Like during his time here in Minnesota, the biggest issues with Rob has been 3-point shooting. Like he's really struggled to adjust to the extra couple feet of 3-point range in the NBA. And then it's the turnovers, like a 1.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. And Chris Finch, there's nothing that gives him more eye twitches than just unneeded turnovers. So I was kind of saying before the deadline of like, he needs to go to a Utah, a Chicago, a Memphis, someplace where he can just play 30 something minutes a night against NBA talent and just score 30 points, but also have 11 turnovers, which, that's being a young point guard in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I remember when Minnesota traded up or they traded, I guess, into the first round because they already had like 27 or something like that to draft Terrence Shannon Jr. Is that right?
Yep, they traded their higher first round pick, which was like 20 something, and the 2031 unprotected first, San Antonio.
Yeah, so there's definitely talent there, and Minnesota knew that. Chicago knows that. Rob just, I mean, he's just a good basketball player. The guy can score. I mean, he's just super fun to watch. So he is going to get that ability in Chicago to prove that. They got so many guards, but still, they're going to have to play him. They traded for him, sent out Io for him. They're going to want to see what he looks like and see if he's going to be the guy that could maybe play alongside Josh Giddey in the future, or if that could be Ivy. But I know the thing with Rob too is he's a small guard, very small guard. So the benefit in Chicago, he'll play alongside Josh Giddey. Defense, we'll see what happens there. But offensively, Giddey is 6'8", so he kind of. I wrote yesterday or the day before that he just kind of gives that lineup versatility, that flexibility that you can have a small guard that's not really like a pass first guy, one of those more score first guards. You can have them alongside Giddey and play shooting guard. I know it's positionless now, but it gives you that runway to develop a little bit more. Rob could have those 5-6 turnover, 2 assist game, but it's not going to be the end of the world in Chicago because he's not going to be tasked as that primary facilitator. That's Giddey's job. So Giddey is going to still have 10 assists, 2, 3, 4 turnovers or whatever. And Rob can just kind of focus on using that score first mentality that he has.
It's been such a weird development with Rob because I think when he got drafted, everyone, myself included, was like that first step he has, like off the catch or when he's revving up, is like Iverson level quickness. Like no joke, it is like Iverson, like put that back foot in and just drive by somebody. But like his floater game kind of failed him, really struggled around the rim, struggled to hit threes. The place where he has honestly been best as a pro is on defense. Like he gets really good positioning. He is like tenacious. Like he's small, but it's like Alvarado level of like, I'm just going to get into you and like be as physical as my little body will allow. And that's kind of been the thing that I've always kind of hung my hopes on, is like, this guy cares. Like he legitimately wants to be great. He did everything the coach has asked of him here. It's just, again, like sometimes it takes a couple years for the mind to kind of catch up on offense, but he's a fun player. He's a super good kid. Like I hate calling people kids, but as someone who's almost double his age, I feel like I kind of have to at this point. But like, he's just a really good, fun, like lighthearted. I think he did a Target commercial for like the Lifetime toilet paper rolls. Like he's just like a good, lighthearted person. I think Bulls fans will really like him, even if there's some maddening aspects of it.
Yeah, that's really good to hear because I know they'll be seeing a lot of him. I know probably a lot more than Wolves fans did, but that's good to hear just how he is and how that will probably carry over to his on-court demeanor and whatnot, and especially good things to hear defensively too, because that's just been something the Bulls haven't been able to find, is those tenacious defenders. They traded for Coro, obviously, but besides that, it's just been few and far between. So Bulls fans will definitely love to see Rob's tenacious defense just hounding an opposing point guard because they haven't really gotten to see much of that recently.
It's funny because it was like he gets drafted and it's like, well, his offense will carry him, and if his defense is just good enough, he'll be a great player. Like his defense is good enough. Like it has been the offense that has abandoned him. But yeah, he's definitely like, when he's guarding, you kind of feel bad for him at times because it's like, oh, that guy is so much bigger than you, but really quick hands, really good positioning. Like he quite frankly has held his own. It's been the weirdest thing seeing a guy that small play so much bigger than his size. Kind of the same thing though. Leonard Miller, you mentioned him. I mean, do you think he's going to be able to get some rotation minutes there in Chicago, or are they pretty? I mean, I know with Buzelis, they kind of have their blue chip, but what's kind of behind him that Lenny would be battling against?
Lenny will definitely get some run, just because the Bulls are so small, and they're going to run. I mean, they ran Yabusele at the five in the first game since all those trades were made. And that's like a 6'7" generously. Yabusele is probably 6'6" at center. I know he has a lot of weight to him, of course, so that helps. But still, they're going to go small. So Leonard Miller will definitely get a lot of time at the five. He'll get some time even at the four, most likely. But he'll be utilized. I know the Bulls, they want to see what everyone has to offer, everyone who they acquire. They want to see if these guys fit into the future. So he'll get some run. It will be interesting seeing him next to Mados because just how they are kind of built. They're kind of those lanky types that can also handle a little bit. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him in more NBA action, just because, like I mentioned earlier, he's just dominated in the G League and in Summer League. So that'll be fun to see if that carries over in the latter half of the season in NBA minutes.
Yeah, I mean, for Bulls fans that might be listening, like Lenny, last year the team like voted on like who's who in the locker room. He was the funniest guy in the locker room. Everyone said it was like their favorite hangout in the locker room. Like he's kind of been on this team as long as he had because he's like a really good teammate and really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But like on the court, 3-point range, he has a nice little drive to him, get into the rim, can shoot from the corners. Doesn't really like create a ton, but like just hasn't gotten chances. I think if he were able to play actual minutes for an amount of time, he'd be a mid 30% 3-point shooter and a guy that finishes good, really good rebounder, crashes everything on the offensive side, and then on defense he's fine.
Yeah.
It's really hard to evaluate like the post defenders on the Wolves because it's like you're either playing with Rudy Gobert, who makes everybody look good on the court, or you're playing with Naz Reid, who makes everyone look kind of bad on the court. So it's really hard to evaluate that part. But like offensively, I'm like genuinely looking forward to seeing like what he's putting up in box scores, because that guy I think could be a rotational offensive piece at least.
Yeah, that's definitely what the Bulls are hoping, because like their forwards are just so light. Their forwards and bigs. I mean, it's Jalen Smith is probably going to be the starting center. I did like a depth chart and I had him at center, I believe, but I saw someone else have him at power forward with like the recently acquired Nick Richards at center. That could be something. I know Zach Collins is still around. He's been injured since the end of December, so he could start at center. Bulls have wanted to go bigger with Buzelis at the 3, so we'll see. That could have Miller at the 4, but if they are going to continue with that small ball type of lineup, he'll probably get some ample opportunity at the 5.
Yeah, I talked to Nas today at practice, and Nas was just kind of the same way of just like beaming that Lenny's going to actually get playing time, because like it just sucks here, right? Like you're behind Rudy, Julius, and Nas, all who are going to play 30 minutes a game. There's just nothing, which for a guy like Lenny, like kudos to him. It's really hard to just keep your head down and work for 3 years knowing that like there really isn't a path forward for him. So really excited to see what he can do. Same with Rob. Like I do think Bulls fans will genuinely enjoy Rob. Like he is a fun player. I hope it translates into like a good NBA player, but fun is at least when you're on a bad team. Lord knows the Wolves know how that goes. Sometimes the fun ones are the ones that you grow most attached to.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I'm happy to see that. And I don't know, it's going to be good seeing, I mean, some of these 12-man rotations, they're going to go deep, but it'll be interesting to see on a nightly basis what Billy Donovan trots out there. But there's going to be so many different mix. I don't know. Everyone's going to play everywhere, really.
Hey, open tryouts. That's not the worst way to like figure out who you want to keep in the off season, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Austin, well, I appreciate you hopping on for this, man. Really enjoyed the insight. Any last thoughts you have? I also want to give you the floor. Please feel free to plug yourself. Where can people find your work? And anything you want to shout out, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, for sure. First, thanks for having me. It was really fun. I did want to hit you with one thing
Yeah.
before, just especially with Rob Dillingham. I know you spoke on his offensive struggles a little bit. What would you say his best attribute is? Like where Bulls fans can be like, wow, this guy actually is, a deadly shot maker, a really good finisher. His handles are crazy. Just where do you see that eventually occurring?
It is his handles. Like
Mhm.
he has, again, like if you're playing 2K, like his handles are in that 90 range. He has
Mhm.
a pullback move that drops people. Like he has a quick cross. He has like a little crab dribble spin thing that he does. Like he is an elite ball handler and he's so fast, like going from planted to dribbling that I mean, even at Wolves games when he was getting 12 minutes, there'd be oohs and ahs. It's just for him, it's been just tough, man. Like I think he came into the NBA and the 3-point shot, his shot is kind of ugly. And he was trying to change his shot a little bit in the rookie season, and that just didn't go very well. And then it was the around the rim stuff. Like you can kind of tell in smaller guards sometimes when they're used to being able to like sneak a ball up there and kind of kiss it off the glass.
Mhm.
Whereas I think for him in particular, a lot of blocked shots, but like his ball handling will get him open. Like it is an NBA acquired attribute. Like we are in the Wolves community, we talk about Wendell Moore a lot, who is like a really great player out of Duke. Like he was really good at everything, but not great at everything. And that was kind of his downfall, was like he was good, but he didn't have anything that was elite. Like Rob's handle is elite. Like if he makes it, that's what's going to make him a star, which hey, that's kind of the new age of the NBA. You have your LaMelo Balls, your Trey Youngs. Like if
Mhm.
you got a good handle and you start hitting shots, it can make you a lot of money.
Yeah, and I haven't even mentioned it yet, but Bulls run their fast break offenses. They get up and down, so it'll be interesting seeing Robin more of that up and down offense. Get to see his handle end to end, 94 feet. That's certainly something that will pop. So it's definitely something that we'll see. But yeah, that's really all I had. Just kind of looking to see how he fits in, especially amongst the guards. But as for me, you can find me on Pippen Ain't Easy. Stuff going up all the time. It's part of Fansided's network. So anything from a statistical deep dive, just some hypothetical stuff and grade the trades is what I specialize in.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, man, for coming on. Someday we'll have to do a championship finals edition when the Bulls and Wolves are both in there. I feel like they've been tied together since Jimmy Butler came over here, but appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on. For anyone that did join into this late, as soon as I hit end stream, it'll be up on YouTube and X, Living On Forever. Will be posted on the 8th at 7 a.m. for people that want to listen to it. It is anywhere you get your podcasts. And we will be on with Tom Shearer, my boss over at Zone Coverage, after the Clippers game tomorrow, which hopefully no one will light the locker room on fire after this game and we can have some normality in the Wolves fan base. But we'll see. Anyway, thanks again, Austin. Appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me, Andrew.